Well, I'm not even going to say the midterm rental space. I'm going to say real estate in general. Like when this is on every asset class, this is stock market, this could be crypto, real estate, you name it. But the worst thing you can do as an investor is wait for a trend to hit, watch it, and then buy at the top of the curve. Okay. Everything has a curve. I don't care what the asset class is. I really don't. It's all going to be low, high, down, up, down. And your job as an investor is to buy low and sell or rent high.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Bursey. And today we're talking to Julie Gates, the visionary behind Sid Was Here and Team 912. Julie has completely cracked the code on the Savannah short-term rental market, turning property management into a high-level hospitality experience. She's an investor, a coach, and a master of the midterm pivot. Julie, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Yes, it is. It most certainly is. And Julie, before we dive into the market dynamics, please give our audience the short story of your journey and where you are now.
Okay, sure. I'd be happy to. I'm in the beautiful Savannah, Georgia, the only city in the world built around 26 squares, filled with beautiful houses and trees. So it is a beautiful place to live. It's kind of rural, like people think we're right next to Atlanta, but we're actually on the coast. And I've been in Atlanta, in Atlanta. I guess I don't know where I live. I've been in Savannah for over 20 years, and I've been a real estate investor here for over 20 years. So I got my start actually in commercial real estate, if you can believe that. And then I flipped to residential. And then I needed my own property management because my portfolio got kind of big and I was making it just for myself. So I wasn't really thinking about it that seriously. So I named my property management company after my son's squirrel rescue, which is Sid Was Here. And Sid is actually a squirrel. So my logo has a squirrel, and people always think I have the weirdest name, but it really is an ode to how much I love my kid and what a great job he did with squirrels. So after I started the property management company, I got into short-term rentals and then became an agent. And so I'm kind of a triple threat where I'm an investor first, and then I'm really a property manager second, and then agent third. So when I work with buyers and property owners, I'm very familiar with what they're going through. Everything I'm telling them to do, I have done and failed at myself, multiple times. And I'm just really big on legitimacy, and I'm proud of what I'm doing. There are very few real estate brokers, at my level that really understand, investment real estate like I do. So I love investment real estate. I don't do anything with your traditional, real estate. I call it Ken and Barbie's dream house. I'm not interested at all. I want to know how much money a house will make. I do not care what color it is. I don't care, about anything other than the revenue. Can it bring in, and how much will it cost us to get there? So that's really my focus.
That's awesome. And how exciting. Julie, what got my attention about you was the way you've been able to turn a personal tribute into a professional masterclass in hospitality. What's been the biggest key to maintaining that standard that you have achieved?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Hospitality is tough. And for your listening audience, I don't know if any of them have a short-term rental, but if they do, they're going to resonate with this. It is a job. Okay. Hospitality is a full-time, 7-day a week, 24-hour a day job. And burnout is real. We have a lot of Karens out there that will rent your property. And I mean, I had this woman, yeah, it was mine, which is why I'm so offended, even though I manage for a lot of other people. I had this woman just give me a bad review because there was a notch in the scissors. It was just kind of dumb. But she said, these are chicken scissors. And anyway, it was just crazy. So you kind of deal with a lot of complaints and frustrations, and you're supposed to be perfect at all times. I have to say it's a grind, but after a lot of failure, I finally cracked the code. I'm now managing at scale, and we're super hosts, which is very hard to find in a large-ish property management company. But we've really, I just decided a long time ago, I'm not going to run any business unless I'm doing it to the absolute best of my ability, and it's just going to be amazing, or else I'm going to let the property go. And when I started cutting properties and really only picking up exactly what I was going for, and we just made sure they were just managed to the dime, it's really kind of turned things around. So it's a business. Short-term rentals are a business, and it's also a great asset class.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And that was great illustration. It's clear that having that human mission is what separates you from perhaps others in the hospitality business. That's crystal clear. Julie, Savannah is famous for its strict STR regulations. How has the long,
Mhm.
short strategy allowed you and your clients to bypass some of the legal headaches, I guess, associated with short term rental permits?
Yeah, that's a great question. Savannah's actually had short-term rental permits for over 20 years. So this is a very old hospitality market, which is actually a win. Now, I didn't know that when I moved here. I did not move here because I did so much great market research. I wish I could say I was that smart. I kind of looked into it. But when I did start getting into real estate, I did become very well aware of the laws. And so back when I was, buying houses back in the teens, you could get houses for very low, and there really weren't that many short-term rentals. I had actually never heard of Airbnb when I got into the furnished rental space. That's how old I am. And so I learned the laws very quickly because I'm here to follow them. I'm really not one to do something illegal. And so I got into short-term rentals, but I also I called it the long short for a long time. It's now become known as the medium-term rental, which I actually ended up writing 2 of the chapters for the 30-day stay, which is out by Bigger Pockets. That's how much I've done with that space. But I realized very quickly I had a short-term rental on my property where I live here in Savannah, and people kept asking me to stay for a long time, 30, 60, 90 days. And some of them were travel nurses. And I kept saying, no, I don't really want you in my yard that long. I really liked that guests would leave, in 3 days. And I said, there's an opportunity here. And really at the heart of what I do, I am an entrepreneur. Okay. So I'm always looking for opportunity. And so that's when I kind of saw that opportunity there in the 30-day market, because I'm only going to speak for Georgia, but I think it's everywhere unless there's an HOA. If you stay 30 days or more, it's not a short stay, and so you can do it that way. So back in the day, I was really doing well with medium-term rentals and short-term rentals. And it really allowed me to expand my portfolio very quickly because it was such a heavy cash flow play. If you could come up with the furnishings and make it nice, and obviously standards were lower then, and that's a big reason I was able to scale.
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I love that. It sounds like you're essentially professionalizing the shadow rental market. Instead of just, filling a bed, you're solving a high-end housing problem for traveling professionals or people in
Mhm.
transition. Let's put it that way. It's less of a hospitality play and more of a strategic real estate play. That's a powerful
It was all
distinction.
about the numbers.
It-
Yes, it was about the money. I mean, I saw the money, and the beautiful thing was I had over 70 of these under management, these medium-term rentals. I had short again, I do short-term rental as well, but, I had over 70 under management when COVID hit, and of course, who saw that coming? Not me. I'm not that bright again, but again, I was very lucky, I was ready, and COVID hit. Well, Georgia's a red state. We didn't even have a mask order. So when COVID hit and everyone got locked down, they wanted to get out of, the blue states where they were locked in their apartment for 6 months. And so everyone came to Savannah, and boy, that was actually, I thought it was going to put me under. And that actually really launched us into the stratosphere. But it also brought all this competition into the asset class. So it's like we did very well because of that. And then after we saw quite the decline. So with any business venture, you're going to see a high, you're going to see a low. And I've been at this a long time. I've been through both on multiple levels, and you just got to kind of hang in there. But the key is really to buy correctly. So, when things started going down in 2024 for the medium term rental market and the furnished rental market, I very quickly got out. And so I've actually now turned 11 of mine into long term rentals, which I have no problem doing. I buy them numbers wise, making sure that they'll work as a long-term rental. So, as an investor, it's important to be able to pivot and understand what's going on in the market. That's really, really important for your longevity. If you get into an asset class and you have only one exit strategy, you may not make it as long as I've been here,
The golden nugget I'm taking out of that is that you must weather the storm. And that makes perfect
for sure.
sense. What is the biggest mistake, Julie, you see new investors make when they try to jump in, the midterm rental space?
Well, I'm not even going to say the midterm rental space. I'm going to say real estate in general. Like when this is on every asset class. This is stock market, this can be crypto, real estate, you name it. But the worst thing you can do as an investor is wait for a trend to hit, watch it, and then buy at the top of the curve. Okay. Everything has a curve. I don't care what the asset class is. I really don't. It's all going to be low, high, down, up, down. And your job as an investor is to buy low and sell or rent high. Okay. And I'm amazed at how hard it is to get that concept through because everyone goes, oh no, it's COVID. I'm going to sit on my hands and freak out and watch Tiger King. I went and bought tons of real estate during the shutdown. Okay. And it was not hard to do because people were thrilled to give it away to me. They were like, oh no, the world is ending. And I was able to almost double my portfolio at that time because I'm an opposite girl. Okay. I understand these things go up and they go down. And when things crash, that is not the time to freak out. That is the time to go and purchase. So it's very important, as people go through their investment journey, to be aware you've got to see what's going on and think differently than everyone else. If you follow the crowd, if you're in the back, you're going to get what falls out the back. And it's usually not that pleasant.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm with you on that. Interested to know, how do you handle the pet friendly aspect of your rentals without destroying your maintenance budget?
That's a very good question. So, first off, we have a background with squirrels. As you are aware, I've already said that. And I love animals and I love being pet friendly. I'm very proud of that. I always encourage owners to be. It's up to the owner. I don't dictate that, obviously, but we do like to be pet friendly. There are many people that want to travel with pets, and especially in the medium term rental space. they're a lot more likely to come with a pet because they might be here for, 90 days or whatever. So I do encourage being pet friendly. It is more work. The turnover is a pain in the neck, and I don't love it. The longer the stay, the dirtier the house. And I've had that question from owners before. They're just like, well, you're renting it for 30 days or more, your management fee should be less. And I tell them, I go from 2 people to doing a turnover to when they've been in the house for 2, 3, 4 months.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
That's a 6-person turnover, okay? And that's the most expensive part of being a property manager is all the staffing. So we've seen some pretty heavy, pet hair situations. I had one lady move out of one of my places years ago. I could probably still find hair in that unit. I mean, you could have knitted a new dog from that thing. So we actually kept vacuuming the carpet. I'll never forget. We pulled back. It was a throw carpet on top of wood. We peel back the carpet. There's another half inch of hair under the carpet. I don't know how it got there, but this dog was just crazy. So, be aware that it is going to be a pretty heavy lift on the clean when you have a pet. It just depends on the pet, but you're never going to know, until you get in there. And you can leave all the cleaning products that you want. The guest will not be using it. So you really want to manage that expectation very carefully with the owner. And it's important if you're going to be pet friendly and especially have those longer stays, you want to have the right furniture. I'm going to say, like your couch, get a leather couch. Okay. Do not do a couch with fabric because that fabric is going to eat the fur and the next 7 guests are going to pull up pet hair and they're going to complain about it. And that's going to cost you in their negative review. So you do actually want to set a house up a little bit better if it's going to be pet friendly. It's important to keep that in mind. Every investor, no matter what avatar, you need to know what asset class you're going for, and you want to know who your end person is that's going to rent it. So if you're going for travel nurses, that's one thing, and if you're going for a high-end luxury short-term rental, that's another. So, you kind of want to set up the house appropriately.
Julie, that is such a smart pivot. You're basically turning a massive liability that most landlords are terrified of into your biggest competitive advantage and a predictable revenue stream.
That's right.
Yes. And this question here has been on my mind for a bit now. What's the one luxury amenity that actually pays for itself in the midterm rental?
Mm, midterm rental, I would not say there's a luxury amenity that is going to draw them into your midterm rental. For a short-term rental, that is very market specific. So it's important for you to know your market, and I do know my market, but I cannot speak to your market. Like Minneapolis is a great example. I don't know. I'd have to do some research. But here in Savannah, in the historic district, the number one amenity is a hot tub because there are none. And there are zero, well, there are zero, but there are very few swimming pools because the historic district was built before there was in-wall electricity. But Tybee Island, for example, which is another one of my markets, their main amenity is a pool, okay, for example. So that's very easy to find using research, but when you're running a short-term rental, you want to have an amenity that is very scarce and that everybody wants. Parking is another great example. That's a very big deal for pretty much any property, but especially I would think a medium-term rental would want parking. But medium-term rentals, that's a different animal. A lot of times they want walkability, things like that.
Thank you for elaborating on that. And that's a classic case of spend a little to earn a lot. It's amazing how a
Yeah.
one-time upgrade can justify a higher monthly rate for years to come. Smart, very smart. Julie, beyond capital, what is the single biggest bottleneck you see right now for real estate professionals trying to move from a transaction-focused business to a scalable enterprise?
Yeah, it's tough. To the big guys that all have a lot of real estate, they all have property managers. And it's really easy to look at a line item and say, oh, I'll just do that myself and I'll make more. But what people don't really realize is that a pro is always going to pay for themselves. That is their job. Okay. Just like going to the dentist. Could you pull your own tooth? Yeah, you could probably do it for 50 bucks. But is that a good idea? Are you going to get as good of a quality of work, blah, 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 long term, everything? And real estate is the same way. The people that really have significant portfolios, they work that management fee into their numbers. So, you could run around town, you could do things, but a property manager, we can do things at scale that no single owner can do. We have 50 handymen on tap, right? And, like short-term rentals is a great example. A furnished rental, you have a very high expectation for service, okay? And because I manage so many units and I take very good care of my vendors, I can get a bug guy out on a Sunday to spray because the guest saw a cockroach. Okay. That's not easy if you just have one bug guy and you're nobody to him. Okay. And like a fridge goes out, I can get an appliance guy there on a Saturday. I have 6 of them. I'm going to call every one of them till one of them says they'll do it. And with short-term rentals, if you can get something fixed very quickly, a fridge is a great example. You can't leave the guest without a fridge for 3 days, okay? But if you leave them without a fridge for 3 hours, they're going to be okay. You don't have to refund. You just, oh, I'm so sorry. Here's a bottle of wine. You're good. You're probably going to get a 5-star review. We had recently, we had a guest fall and she broke our toilet in a luxury short-term rental $1 million property in Savannah. She broke the toilet somehow, massive water leak, all the things. We had it we had it shorn up and fixed. We had a new toilet within a few hours and then we
Yeah.
repaired the rest after they left. But that's not easy to do if you
No.
don't have the connections at your fingertips. But someone like myself who's constantly calling guys, constantly needing their help, we take great care of them. I'm their biggest customer. I pay them quick. They're going to show up for me because I'm at scale and they don't want to lose my business. They don't want to upset me. They want me to call them 3 days a week, for a toilet repair. Like that's how they get paid. So that 10% or that 20% or whatever it is the property manager charges, when you realize that the owner is doing literally nothing, the work has to be done anyway, and someone's sitting by the phone waiting to pick it up and handle that call, it just removes a lot of the stress. And the other thing that I have seen over and over, I have a friend that self manages right here in Savannah, and, I'm looking at their numbers just yesterday. And I was like, wow, I could have done so much better for this person, but they're trying to save money. But when you look at what a pro can do and they have all the tools to do it with, they actually will pay for themselves, or at least mostly. And then also you're saving your time, which is also valuable.
So smart. Those relationships are everything. And take care of your people. It'll come back twofold for you. Absolutely. Couldn't agree anymore.
Always.
And Julie, what market risk, if any, are you watching most closely now?
Market risk. Well, it's super important to know the market that you're investing in. First off, it's important to pick one market. I've had people call me as an agent and go, oh, I'm looking in these 8 markets. Okay, then you don't need that. And then they'll call and go, oh, I'm going to talk to 3 agents. You don't need 3 agents. You don't need 3 markets. You need one killer market and one killer agent, and you're going to do great. If you can be loyal to someone and make sure they know you're competent and you're going to buy, they will be loyal right back to you. But first off is, selecting your market, and then you need to really understand your market. What's going on? Are jobs coming in? Are jobs going out? Is tourism strong? Is tourism not? Like, sometimes Savannah does really well with short term rentals. Sometimes it does very well with medium term rentals. And sometimes I'm telling everyone and their grandmother, hey, you need to buy long term rentals. I have done all of those cycles and they're all true. But it's also important to just really understand your market first. And if you're in it and you're connected to it, you're going to know what's going on.
Absolutely. Last question, Julie. What is a major lesson or perspective shift you've embraced recently that has fundamentally changed the way you approach market opportunities?
Well, I'm always watching the market very closely. I'm always watching for opportunities and I'm always watching for reasons to pivot. And being a property manager who's like knee deep in this, I see it very quickly. I see when there's going to be a lot of vacancy. I see when things are hot. things like that. And the biggest thing that I've seen lately is the war in Iran. I mean,
Yeah.
that has been a huge game changer. 2025 was a very tough year on short-term rentals. We were still coming down off of the highs from COVID because everyone jumped into short-term rentals during COVID or right after they saw the money. Everybody jumped in. And we're seeing a lot of people that overpaid. Unfortunately, if you bought a short-term rental in 2023 or 2024, you probably overpaid and you were not making your mortgage payments last year. And I see it all the time. It's unfortunate, but when you get oversaturated, obviously average daily rate is going to go down and you're not going to make the same money. And when you're looking at numbers like that after a big worldwide event, it's important to run your numbers very conservatively. So we were telling people in 2023, you need to be looking at 2019 numbers. Those are your actual numbers. And sure enough, today we're moving back towards that. So 2025 was pretty tough on short-term rentals. But in February, the US attacked Iran and, it's horrible. I obviously don't wish for war, but since that happened, gas has gone up, airline has doubled, airline fees have doubled. The TSA, Lord knows what's going on there. The lines are long. And so, and this has happened every time there's a major world event. It happened when 9/11 happened. I know you were around. I was as well. No one wanted to travel internationally. And what's going on right now? No one is going international. No one. Okay. And do you know what happens with that? That creates a real demand for drive to markets for short term rentals. And we're seeing it already. 2026 is really pulling together. I'm starting to send owners record amounts of money and they're thrilled. They're so like, oh, you've never sent me this much before. And I'm like, yay, we're both winning, right? I get a percentage of what they get. So we're on the same team. But right now I'm seeing a really massive increase in bookings for short-term rentals. So if you're in the short-term rental space, it is time to make that the best short-term rental it can be and raise your pricing because it is absolutely coming.
Julie, that was incredibly valuable. And before we wrap, for our listeners who want to follow your work, connect with you directly or learn more about your real estate offerings, what are the best ways for them to reach out?
I do a lot of content on YouTube and I'm always talking about real estate investing. I'm here to educate. I really love what I do. And you can search Julie Gates or also Sid was here 912. 912 is the area code. And I actually brought something special for your audience today. It is only for this audience. I'm not putting this anywhere else, but I've been slowly through my YouTube channel and other things, I do a lot with real estate investing and I'm here to help my investors speed up and also make more money. We're always looking at return on investment. And one issue that I found in my own portfolio is that I let my insurance policies go for years and I didn't watch them. And I finally figured out that I needed to audit my insurance policies. And the first year I did it, I saved over $10,000 that year. And that's a fixed expense. So I have created a custom tool. You upload your policy declarations page to it, and it actually gives you an opinion on your insurance.
Mm.
If you're overpaying, underpaying, are you missing out? And it also gives you suggestions on where you can get more quotes. And I want to say it's really, really important to shop around your insurance policy every single year. You're paying that money anyway, but what if you could get a 30% discount? That money goes right in your pocket as an investor. So if you're interested in this tool, I'm giving it away for free 2 weeks
Ooh.
after this show airs, and that's it. I'm turning it off, but it's at shop.team912.com. And I'm going to put the coupon code in podcast. And Team 912, again, 912 is the area code for Savannah, but Team 912 is my real estate team. We're all investors, the agents on my team, we all have portfolios. And I want to give that to your audience. It's a really great tool. And I genuinely hope it'll help you save a ton of money on your portfolio. Whether it's your personal home or your portfolio, you can use the tool over and over as much as you want. It's free to you, and it will absolutely help you save a lot of money on something that you have to spend money on.
Thank you so much, Julie. That is going to be so
You're
valuable
welcome.
for our community. And thank you for being on the show. This has been an absolute delight.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
And thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in. If you found value in today's episode, please make sure you're subscribed. Until next time, keep your standards high and your vision clear. We'll see you in the next episode, everyone.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.